Hello there! You can put icons on your keyboard. Now these people are artists, but so are you. Why doesn't your work feel like this? It can. Do you feel like you're working with caveman tools but being asked to build a rocket ship? I'm a professional animator. I've worked on projects like Death Stranding, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Crash Bandicoot 4, and I can't say yet, but it's pretty... But enough about me. If you were a fast and efficient professional animator, tuning your instruments would feel like this.
Deadline.
She's coming.
You have hotkeys that you use thousands of times a day. But what about the tools that you use 100 times a day? 50, 10, 5, 1. It gets hard to remember those hotkeys, so why bother setting them up? When I started putting icons on my keyboard, I found myself using the tools I used 100 times a day 500 times a day. Because there's no friction. You don't need to strain your brain with thinking. You just glance at your keyboard and boom. Why don't I get one of these? Or one of those covers that have hotkeys on them. These are great for beginners trying to get to know the program, but they are expensive. They're Maya's default settings, but most of the hotkeys you don't use. They don't have Animbot hotkeys or custom scripts, and they're not placed in an order that is logical for speed. And most importantly, you can't iterate. More on that later. In just 4 easy steps, in a single glance, you know exactly where your tools are. Step 1, draw the icons. I made this template. There's a link in the description. Open it in Photoshop. Or if you wanted a free option like I did, Krita has all the features that gets the job done. Color the legend tabs and title the tools that you use together. Place the tools from left to right in order of operations. For my graph editor hotkeys, I put stepped first because I do my layout pass in stepped. Then spline for blocking and tangent tweaking tools for polish. Screenshot tool icons in Maya or Blender and paste them into your Krita file. And if you have Animbot, all the icons are on your computer. For speed, you want your tools to be sticky, so use contrast. For instance, if you look at my copy and paste tools in Animbot, they're all purple. So when animating, it takes a second or two to differentiate which one is which. A fast solution for this is selecting every other tool and hitting Ctrl-I. Now you know the category and the specific tool at a glance. If this video has given you any value, please consider subscribing. And if you have, thank you. You can make your own hotkey icons. Think of a meme-like visual to describe what it is. I have 2 nudge tools, left and right space nudge, and left and right time nudge. A cartoon hand for nudge, an hourglass for time, and planets for space. For contrast, try to use black and white, black and or dark color, and light color. I have a few hand-drawn icons for when I found a new tool and I wanted to quickly add them to my keyboard. If someone made a full hand-drawn icon keyboard, that'd be so cool. If you made a custom hotkey icon, I would love to see it. If you post it on social media, please post it with hashtag animatorsinstrument or hashtag animhotkey icon. That is if you're okay with other animators using it. I might. Step 2, print icons. To print the icons, you can do so on your home computer or go to a place like Staples or Kinko's. It should only be a few bucks. Step 3, cut and tape the icons onto your keyboard. If you don't want to tape your favorite keyboard and this is more of an experiment for you, you can get a cheap keyboard for $15 or less, and there's always Craigslist and thrift stores if you're on a budget. You can remove the keycap from your keyboard, or not. It's a little harder if you don't, but still doable. Cut the icon out. Fold the Legends tab down, place the icon under the tape, cut the tape to the size of the side of your keycap, and boom, you have an icon keycap. Step 4, iterate until you're comfortable. There's a conflict, because your muscle memory is kicking in. You're fast. You should still iterate. It will take time and you'll have to relearn your muscle memory. But if you make that sacrifice, tweak your icons, colors, position, and add more tools, it'll make more sense and reduce friction. Animation tools are made for many artists across the pipeline. So the default setup has a little of everything. Don't be afraid to really make it your own. You can't delete the default settings, so you can always go back to it. In the long haul, you'll be faster and more efficient. When I first set up my icon keyboard, my animation got better, but I was still doing overtime. I got fast, but I unconsciously put that time to quality. For time management tips, check out this video. It'll keep you within 8 hours. All artists are on the spectrum of many things, like introversion and extroversion. This hotkey setup works really well for people that lie on this side of this spectrum. So if you're on the other side, maybe you just need abbreviated text that describe what the hotkey does. Here's a link to a video of this guy that has a different perspective on hotkeys. And also, he goes into more detail on how to set up hotkeys in Maya. I go over why all your hotkeys should be single press in this video. At some point, you'll fill up all your single press hotkeys, but you have more tools that you use. What you can do is